Ever wake up feeling like you've run a marathon in your sleep? Or maybe you're just staring at a brand new CPAP machine thinking, what on earth do all these buttons do? It can feel pretty overwhelming, can it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a common feeling.
Well, on today's deep dive, we're trying to, crack the code on one of the most talked about sleep therapy devices out there. We want to bring you some clarity, some real actionable insights.
That's the plan. Whether you're literally just unboxing your first CPAP, or maybe thinking about upgrading your current machine, or even if you're just sort of curious about the tech that helps millions sleep better.
Hmm.
We've done the digging.
We're here to pull out the key stuff, make sense of it all.
Exactly.
And the star of our show today, it's the ResMed AirSense 11 Auto CPAP machine. We're not just going to list features, though. We're going to put it head to head, compare it with its predecessor, a real workhorse, to help you understand what's genuinely new, what's different, and, what might actually be the best fit for you.
We've been through a pretty detailed comparison document, pulling out the important bits.
Right. Our mission today is basically to give you the knowledge you need to understand the AirSense 11, whether you're brand new to this, considering an upgrade, or just listening in. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's set the stage. The ResMed AirSense 10 Auto Set, launched way back in mid-2014, really became like the gold standard for a while.
Yeah.
Super reliable, effective therapy. People generally liked it.
A real benchmark.
Totally. Then, fast forward to August 2021, and ResMed brings out the successor, the AirSense 11 Auto Set. And yeah, right off the bat, there are some pretty noticeable differences.
Absolutely. The first thing you'll probably see is the interface, right? The AirSense 11 has a full-color touchscreen.
Big change.
Yeah, it feels much more modern, maybe more intuitive for a lot of people, especially when you compare it to the AirSense 10's older LCD screen with the dial and the buttons.
The difference between an old feature phone and a smartphone interface, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Feels more familiar now.
And what's really interesting is how the AirSense 11 leans heavily on the myAir app. It has these exclusive software features built in, specifically designed to help new users get started.
Oh, like what?
Well, there's the personal therapy assistant, think short video guides, helping you set up the mask, the machine.
Okay, handy.
Then there's Care Check-in, which gives you personalized tips and coaching during those first few days or weeks, which can be tough.
Yeah, that adjustment period is key.
And even a test drive feature. It lets you run the machine at a low pressure just to get used to the feeling of the airflow before you actually try sleeping with it.
That sounds genuinely useful, especially if you're feeling a bit intimidated by the whole thing. Having that guidance in an app makes a lot of sense.
It really tries to onboard you gently.
Now, another thing, the auto set for her algorithm. How does that fit in?
Right, good point. This ties into that idea of more personalized therapy. The AirSense 11 actually includes the auto set for her algorithm in all its auto set devices.
Oh, okay, so it's not a separate machine anymore.
Exactly. With the AirSense 10, if you needed that specific algorithm, which responds a bit differently, maybe more gently, you had to buy the dedicated AirSense 10 auto set for her model.
So the 11 just builds it in, more flexible.
Yep, built-in flexibility. You can choose which algorithm, the standard auto set or the for her response in the settings.
That simplifies things quite a bit. Okay, what about staying connected? That seems like a big focus these days.
Huge leap forward for the AirSense 11 here. This really shows how the tech evolves. The big one is over-the-air software updates, OTA updates.
Like my phone.
Pretty much. The machine can update itself automatically, get the latest features, bug fixes, without you needing to do anything. Plus, it has cellular and Bluetooth connectivity built in standard.
And the AirSense 10?
The connected models of the AirSense 10 did have cellular and Bluetooth, which was great for data transfer to myAir and AirView, but crucially, no OTA updates.
Ah, okay.
And really important to remember, there was also that card-to-cloud version of the AirSense 10.
The budget one.
Right. No cellular, no Bluetooth. You had to physically take the SD card out to get your data. No myAir app connection.
So the AirSense 11 is just fully connected all the time with updates.
Much more comprehensive, yeah. More future-proof.
Makes sense. What about the actual physical boxes? Any big changes in size, power draw?
A few subtle things. The AirSense 11 uses a more energy-efficient power supply, 65 watts versus the 90 or sometimes 95 watts for the AirSense 10.
Okay. Noticeable difference.
And dimensions.
Yeah.
The AirSense 11 is actually a tiny bit lighter. It's got a slightly smaller footprint width-wise and height-wise, though it is a little longer front to back.
So marginally smaller overall, maybe better for the nightstand?
Potentially, yeah. Every little bit helps sometimes. And that lower power draw is good too, especially if you think about battery use.
And I guess with the new tech, new design, usually comes a higher price tag.
Typically, yes. The AirSense 11 generally costs a bit more than the AirSense 10. That's pretty standard for newer models with more features.
Okay, good initial overview. Let's dig into that design aspect a bit more. You said sleek, modern design for the 11. What does that mean day to day?
Well, visually, it just looks less like a, well, medical device. Smoother lines, rounded corners. It might blend into a bedroom setting a little better than the AirSense 10, which looks a bit more traditional.
Right, more appliance-like.
Kinda. Both are made from sturdy, medical-grade plastics, though. The AirSense 10 is known for being pretty solid.
But I think I remember hearing about issues with the AirSense 10 water tank.
Yes, that's a common point in user feedback.
Yeah.
Some people found the AirSense 10 tank prone to crapping over time, especially the standard one. The AirSense 11 has a redesigned tank.
Mm.
It might be more durable, but honestly, we need more time and data to say for sure.
Something to keep an eye on. Now, durability is one thing. You mentioned the size difference in power. So while neither is tiny like a travel CPAP.
Definitely not. Like the ResMed Air Mini, that's a dedicated travel machine.
Right. But for occasional travel, maybe taking it camping, that slightly lower weight and the more efficient power supply could make the AirSense 11 a bit easier to manage, especially with a battery.
That's a really good point. That lower wattage can make a difference in how long a battery pack lasts.
Hmm.
So yeah, a slight edge for the 11 there.
And interacting with them daily, that touch screen versus the dial, huge difference in feel, I imagine.
Oh, completely. The AirSense 11 touchscreen is very much like using a tablet or smartphone. Swipe, tap. The AirSense 10's dial and buttons. It works fine. Lots of people are used to it, but it's definitely more old school.
So personal preference, really.
Absolutely. Some
Yeah.
might even prefer the tactile feel of the dial,
It's true. What about things like where the filter goes or where the tube connects? Any practical differences there?
Yep, small changes. The AirSense 11 filter is at the back. On the 10, it's on the side. The idea for the 11 is maybe slightly better, cleaner air intake being at the back.
Okay.
And the tubing connection. The 11 has a direct port on the back. The 10 uses this swiveling elbow piece.
Pros and cons to each, I guess. Maybe the elbow gives more flexibility.
Could be. The direct port might be simpler, maybe less prone to getting knocked. It probably depends on your setup, how your tube routes.
Gotcha. Okay, let's shift to the core function, the actual therapy. Is there a fundamental difference in how they treat sleep apnea?
At their heart, no. Both the AirSense 11 AutoSet and the AirSense 10 AutoSet use ResMed's core AutoSet algorithm. It's a really sophisticated system.
It adjusts pressure automatically.
Exactly. Breath by breath, it monitors you and adjusts the pressure needed to keep your airway open. It's clinically validated, very effective, and it's the foundation for both machines.
And we mentioned the for her algorithm being integrated in the 11. That seems like the main therapy difference.
That's the key algorithmic difference in the AutoSet models, yes.
Uh-huh.
Having it built into every AirSense 11 AutoSet just gives you that choice, that flexibility, which the AirSense 10 required a whole separate device for.
And can they both just run at one fixed pressure, like a standard CPAP?
Yep. While they shine as APP auto-adjusting devices, both can be set to run in a fixed pressure CPAP mode if that's what your prescription requires.
Okay. What about those comfort features? Things that make it easier to, actually use the thing every night, like autoramp.EPR.
Both machines have those key comfort features. Autoramp starts the pressure low when you first put the mask on, helping you fall asleep easier. Then it gradually ramps up to your prescribed pressure.
Makes sense.
And EPR, expiratory pressure relief, that lowers the pressure slightly as you exhale, makes breathing out feel more natural, less like you're fighting the machine. Big comfort factor for many people.
Definitely.
Both also have smart start-stop. Therapy starts when you breathe into the mask, stops when you take it off. Simple convenience. There's maybe some anecdotal feedback suggesting the mask detection for this is a bit quicker or more reliable on the 11, but both have it.
And there was another setting, auto set response.
Right, both have that too. It lets you choose between standard and soft. The soft setting makes the automatic pressure increases a bit gentler, less abrupt, if you find the standard adjustments noticeable.
So good comfort options on both, really.
Yes, the core comfort tech is shared.
Okay, humidity. Super important for a lot of users to avoid that dry, scratchy feeling. How do they compare there?
Both have an integrated heated humidifier, which ResMed calls Human Air. And interestingly, the water chamber capacity is exactly the same on both 380 milliliters.
So they hold the same amount of water.
Correct. And you can either set the humidity level manually, level 1 through 8, or use the automatic climate control setting.
Auto is usually easier, right?
Generally, yes. Climate Control Auto aims to maintain an optimal humidity level, typically around 85% relative humidity and temperature, automatically adjusting to prevent dryness, but also avoid condensation or rainout in the tube and mask.
Yeah, I remember reading something about the heated tube being a potential difference here. That's important for the auto climate control, isn't it?
You're absolutely right to flag that. This is a critical difference in what often comes in the box. Both machines work with ResMed's climate linear heated tubing. This tube has heating elements to keep the air warm all the way to the mask, which is the best way to prevent condensation, especially in cooler rooms.
Oh, okay. So what's the difference?
The connected versions of the AirSense 10 often included the climate linear heated tube as standard. It was part of the package.
Ah, and the AirSense 11?
With the AirSense 11, the heated tube, the climate linear 11, it's a specific version, is typically a separate purchase, or it might be included in a higher priced bundle. The standard AirSense 11 package usually just comes with a basic, non-heated slimline tube.
Okay, that's a big heads up. Because for that automatic climate control to work best, you really need the heated tube, right?
Precisely. You need the heated tube for the full climate control auto functionality. Without it, you're just using the humidifier base, which can still work, but you might get rain out or need to fiddle with manual settings more. So it's a potential hidden cost or something to be aware of when buying the AirSense 11.
And just to be clear, the heated tubes are not interchangeable between the 10 and 11.
Absolutely not. Different connectors, different software integration. You need the Climate Linear for the AS10 and the Climate Linear 11 for the AS11. They won't work on the wrong machine.
That's crucial for upgraders. Okay. And the water tubs themselves, even though they hold the same amount, are they different too?
Yes, they are. The AirSense 11 water chamber has been redesigned. It's a bit shorter, but has a broader base. The idea was likely to make it more stable, less likely to tip over and spill when you're filling it or carrying it.
Makes sense. Less chance of a midnight puddle.
Hopefully. But again, just like the tubing, the water chambers are not interchangeable between the AirSense 10 and AirSense 11. You can't use your old AS10 tub in an AS11.
Okay, good to know. What about detecting different kinds of breathing problems? Are they equally sophisticated there?
Pretty much, yes. Both the AirSense 10 and AirSense 11 are quite advanced. They go beyond just detecting standard obstructive apneas and hypopneas.
They can spot other things.
Both can detect central sleep apnea, CSA, which is where the brain doesn't send the signal to breathe properly. They can also identify respiratory effort-related arousals, or RRAs. These are subtle breathing disturbances that might not meet the criteria for an apnea or hypopnea, but still disrupt your sleep.
Okay.
And they can detect Cheyne-Stokes respiration, CSR, which is a specific pattern of waxing and waning breathing depth, sometimes seen with heart failure or stroke.
So they gather quite detailed data.
Very detailed. And all this data gets sent via the cellular connection on connected models to ResMed's cloud platform, AirView, when your doctor or sleep specialist can see it, monitor how you're doing, and make adjustments to your therapy if needed.
So performance-wise, in the real world, putting aside features for a second, do they both just work well?
Fundamentally, yes.
Yeah.
Assuming you have a mask that fits well and your pressure settings are right, both the AirSense 10 and AirSense 11 are excellent at treating obstructive sleep apnea. User feedback generally confirms as people report feeling much better, less tired with both.
What about noise? Is one quieter than the other? That's always a big concern.
It is. The official sound level ratings are very close. The AirSense 11 is rated around 27 decibels dBA. The AirSense 10 is typically rated slightly lower, maybe 26.6 dBA, sometimes listed as low as 25 dBA, depending on the specific model or setting.
So technically, the 10 is slightly quieter on paper.
Technically, yes, by a tiny fraction. But honestly, in practice, most users describe both machines as being incredibly quiet. Whisper quiet is a term you hear a lot for both.
Thanks to that easy breathe motor.
Exactly. ResMed's motor technology is very smooth and quiet. So while there's a tiny difference in the specs, it's almost certainly imperceptible to the human ear. Noise shouldn't really be a deciding factor between them.
Good to know. What about reliability? The AirSense 10 has been around for ages, so we probably know its quirks.
That's true. The AirSense 10 has a long track record, and it's generally seen as very reliable. The main recurring issue we already mentioned is that water tank, sometimes cracking. The AirSense 11, being much newer, just doesn't have that same volume of long-term data yet. Initial reports seem mostly positive on reliability. Some users have mentioned, though, that the humidifier seems to run out of water maybe a bit faster, particularly if they aren't using the heated tube.
Ah, okay. less efficient humidification without the heated tube, maybe.
Possibly. Or maybe just differences in ambient conditions. And there have been some, though seemingly rare, reports of the AirSense 11 randomly shutting off during the night. Not widespread, but something that's been mentioned in user forums.
Worth keeping in mind. And you mentioned the dishwasher safe tubs earlier.
Yeah. For both models, ResMed offers a dishwasher-safe version of the water tub as an optional accessory. They might be a bit more durable than the standard ones, possibly worth considering if you've had issues with cracking before.
Okay. And power consumption. You said the 11 is more efficient. How much of a difference does that make? Could be important for travel or power outages.
It's a clear win for the AirSense 11 here. It uses that lower 65-watt power supply, and ResMed states it's about 8.5% more energy efficient overall compared to the AirSense 10.
8.5%. Doesn't sound massive, but maybe it adds up.
It really does, especially if you're running off a battery. While the typical power draw during normal use might be fairly similar night to night, that underlying efficiency means the AirSense 11 will sip less power overall.
So longer battery life from the same battery pack.
Exactly. We see this confirmed in online discussions all the time. People using CPAP, off-grid, camping, RVing, they consistently report getting noticeably longer run times from their battery packs with the AirSense 11 compared to the AirSense 10.
That could be a major factor for some users.
Definitely. The AirSense 10 does have a power save mode to dim the screen, which helps a bit. But the fundamental efficiency of the AirSense 11 gives it the edge for battery use.
Okay, let's talk user experience. Setting it up, using it day to day. You mentioned the guided setup on the 11. How much easier does that make things?
For a brand new user, potentially a lot easier. The AirSense 11, through the My Air app, really holds your hand with the personal therapy assistant. Those video guides for setup and the test drive feature to get used to the pressure.
Less intimidating than just reading a manual.
Right. The AirSense 10 relies more on the traditional approach. Read the manual, get setup instructions from your DME provider, your medical equipment supplier, which works, but the AirSense 11's digital hand-holding could make that initial adjustment period feel smoother for some.
And then the daily interaction, back to that interface. Touchscreen simplicity versus the dial and buttons.
Yeah, it shapes the whole feel of using the machine. Adjusting settings, checking your sleep report on the device screen. The AirSense 11's touchscreen feels very intuitive if you're used to smartphones. The AirSense 10's dial button system is functional, user-friendly enough, but definitely feels more traditional. Again, personal preference.
And the My Air app ties into this experience too, right? For tracking progress.
Absolutely. Both the connected AirSense 10 models and the AirSense 11 sync data to the My Air app. You get your daily sleep score, insights into mask seal, usage hours, events per hour, plus coaching tips.
But the 11 has extra stuff in the app.
Correct. Those exclusive features we mentioned, personal therapy assistant for setup help and care check-in for personalized coaching during the first month or so, are only available for AirSense 11 users within the My Air app. It offers more proactive support.
So more guidance, especially early on. What about just like cleaning it? Daily maintenance.
The routine is pretty similar for both. You need to clean your mask daily, wipe down the headgear and tubing regularly, and wash out the humidifier water chamber.
Any difference in how easy the tanks are to clean?
Some users feel the AirSense 11 tank, with its wider opening maybe, is a bit easier to get into and clean thoroughly. But then, a few people have also mentioned feeling less certain about whether they've clicked it back into the machine properly afterwards. Minor ergonomic differences, probably.
And they both dim their screens at night.
Yep, both have ambient light sensors that automatically adjust the screen brightness, so it won't glare at you in a dark room, which is a nice touch.
Good. Let's circle back to connectivity. It sounds like the AirSense 11 really doubles down on the digital health side.
That's a fair way to put it. The AirSense 11 comes standard with the full suite. Cellular, usually 4G LTE, for automatic data upload, Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE, mainly for connecting to the My Air app on your phone, and those crucial over-the-air OTA software updates.
What are the benefits of all that?
Seamless data syncing, so your doctor always have up-to-date info. The potential for remote troubleshooting or even settings adjustments by your clinician via AirView. And future-proofing, getting new features or improvements automatically.
Compared to the AirSense 10.
The connected AirSense 10 models had the cellular and Bluetooth, which enabled the data sync and remote monitoring via AirView. But again, no OTA updates. Software updates, if any were needed, would typically require involving the DME or ResMed service.
And the card-to-cloud AirSense 10.
And none of that. Zero connectivity. Purely manual data transfer via SD card. No My Air app, no AirView remote monitoring, Big difference.
So accessing your data, primarily the MyAir app for connected models.
Yes, MyAir is the main user-facing platform for daily scores and basic trends. Both machines also have an SD card slot for storing more detailed data.
Although the 11 might not always come with the card.
There have been reports of that, yes. Might be something you need to purchase separately if you want to use the SD card data, maybe with third-party software.
Like Oscar.
Exactly. Software like Oscar can read the detailed data off the SD card and give you much more granular insights into your therapy if you're inclined to dig that deep.
And AirView is the doctor's platform.
Correct. AirView is ResMed's secure, cloud-based platform for clinicians. For any connected AirSense 10 or AirSense 11, they could log in, see detailed reports, track compliance, monitor therapy effectiveness, and even change your machine's pressure settings remotely if needed.
Very convenient for adjustments. Okay, accessories. Huge question for many people. Will my old mask work with the new machine?
Good news there, mostly. Both the AirSense 10 and AirSense 11 use a standard 22mm air outlet connector. That means they're compatible with virtually any CPAP mask on the market, regardless of brand, as long as it uses that standard connection. Which most do.
So mask choice isn't really tied to the machine model.
Not usually, no. Finding the right mask fit is crucial for therapy success, but you have wide compatibility with either machine. The exception might be ResMed's own Airmini Travel CPAP, which uses specific masks. But for standard bedside units like these, mask choice is open.
Okay, BUT. What about other accessories? Tubing, water tanks.
This is where we need flashing red lights and sirens. This is critical, especially for anyone thinking of upgrading from an AS10 to an AS11.
I'm not compatible?
Not at all. The tubing, both standard slimline and heating climate linear, the humidifier water chambers, and the air filters are all specific to either the AirSense 10 or the AirSense 11. They absolutely cannot be swapped between the two machines.
Wow. Okay, so if I upgrade, I need all new everything.
Pretty much all the core consumables, yes. Tubing, water tub, filters. And the power supply brick is different too, different wattage, different connector probably. So you can't reuse your old power cord either.
That adds significant cost to an upgrade, potentially.
It absolutely does. It's a major factor to consider. You're not just buying the machine, you're buying into a slightly different accessory ecosystem.
Good to know. And app compatibility, MyAir works with both connected models, but the 11 gets extra features.
Exactly. Both connect to MyAir, except the C2C AS10, but only AS11 users get the personal therapy assistant and care check-in features within the app.
What about things like battery packs from third parties?
Generally compatible with both, but you'll need the correct 24-volt DC converter cable for your specific machine model. And as we discussed, you'll get the best battery life by disabling heated humidification and any heated tubing. The AirSense 11's efficiency gives it an advantage here for runtime.
And cleaning systems. Any warnings there?
Yes, a big one. ResMed explicitly warns against using ozone-based CPAP cleaners, like SoClean and similar devices, with either the AirSense 10 or AirSense 11. They state it can damage the internal components and seals of the machine, and using one will likely void your warranty.
Okay, stick to soap and water for cleaning then.
That's the manufacturer's recommendation, yes. Regular cleaning with mild soap and water for the mask, tube, and tub.
All right, we've covered specs, features, compatibility. Let's talk about what actual users are saying. Synthesizing all that feedback, what are the common praises and complaints for the AirSense 11?
Okay, for the AirSense 11, people often praise the modern look, the intuitive touchscreen interface. They find it easy to navigate. The helpfulness of those MyAir app extras like the personal therapy assistant and care check-in gets mentioned a lot, especially by new users. And like the 10, its quiet operation is a big plus.
And the downsides? Criticisms?
Some users feel the humidifier doesn't work quite as well unless you also buy and use the heated Climate Linear 11 tube. Without it, they might run out of water faster or not feel they get enough humidity. There are also those occasional comments about the water tank maybe feeling a bit fiddly to reinsert correctly. And for people coming from an AirSense 10, some feel the upgrade is more evolutionary than the revolutionary nice improvements, but maybe not a total game changer in therapy feel.
Okay. And for the AirSense 10, what's the typical feedback there?
The AirSense 10 gets a lot of love for its proven reliability. People trust it. It delivers effective therapy, it's quiet. Many long-term users are perfectly happy and see no reason to change. Some even call it the perfect CPAP.
High praise. What are the complaints?
The main recurring ones are the interface feeling dated compared to newer machines like the 11 with the dial-in buttons. And of course, the water tank issues reports of it cracking or leaking over time, particularly the standard non-dishwasher safe version.
And beyond the machines themselves, common challenges are just getting used to CPAP generally.
Exactly. Finding the right mask, dealing with leaks, adjusting to the pressure. Those are universal CPAP challenges. And sometimes frustrations with insurance or the service from their DME provider come up, which affects the overall experience, but isn't about the machine's quality itself.
We talked about travel and camping using batteries. Sounds like both can work, but disable heat, get the right converter, and the AS11 probably lasts longer.
That sums it up well. The AS11's efficiency is the key advantage for off-grid use.
So, synthesizing all that, common praise for both. Quiet, effective treatment, common challenges, initial adjustment, mask fit,
Mhm.
AS10 tank durability, maybe AS11 humidifier without the heated tube, cost, and sometimes DME service.
That's a good summary of the user sentiment landscape.
Okay, let's talk money. Price, insurance, value. What's the ballpark cost if someone's paying cash?
It varies, of course, with retailers and sales, but as a rough guide, online cash prices for an AirSense 11 auto set. You might see it anywhere from, say, $1,000 to maybe $1,100 or slightly more. And remember, that often doesn't include the heated tube.
Okay, and the AirSense 10 connected.
Often a bit less, maybe the $950 to $1,000 range, and sometimes those prices do include the heated climate linear tube bundled in, making it potentially a better value package up front, depending on the deal.
And the card-to-cloud AS10.
That was always the budget leader, maybe significantly less, but it's harder to find new these days from major retailers.
And crucially, you need a prescription for any of these, right?
Absolutely. These are medical devices.
Mm-hmm.
You need a valid prescription from your doctor.
And insurance coverage, that's a whole other can of worms.
It really is. Coverage varies wildly between insurance plans, deductibles, co-pays, supplier networks. You absolutely must work with your durable medical equipment DME provider. They handle the insurance billing and can tell you your specific out-of-pocket costs. ResMed doesn't deal with insurance directly.
So weighing it all up, futures, cost, feedback, what's the value proposition for each? Why choose one over the other?
Okay, the AirSense 11's value comes from being the latest tech. You get the modern touchscreen, the enhanced digital support in myAir, the integrated for her algorithm, the convenience of OTA updates, and that better energy efficiency. It's the forward-looking, digitally integrated choice.
And the AirSense 10.
Its value lies in its proven track record. It's reliable, delivers excellent core therapy, it's often cheaper, especially if you find a good bundle with the heated tube included. The connected models still offer app integration and remote monitoring. And the card-to-cloud, if you can find it and don't need connectivity, is the ultimate budget play.
But always remember that total cost, right? The heated tube for the 11, and especially if you're upgrading from a 10, the cost of replacing all those incompatible accessories.
Exactly. Those accessory costs for upgraders can easily add another $100 or more to the price of switching to the 11. It's a significant factor.
Okay, last piece. Support and warranty. If something goes wrong, who do you call?
It's usually a three-pronged approach. ResMed, the manufacturer, can help with general product info, the myAir app, and sometimes direct technical support for device malfunctions, but they won't give therapy advice or deal with insurance.
So who handles that?
Your DME provider, the company that supplied the machine. They are your primary contact for setup help, mask fitting, therapy adjustments based on doctor's orders, clinical support questions, insurance issues, getting supplies, and initiating any warranty claims.
And the third prong?
Online communities, sleep apnea forums, Facebook groups, invaluable for peer support, sharing tips, troubleshooting common issues.
What about the official warranty from ResMed?
Typically, it's 2 years for the main device, the blower unit, and the integrated humidifier module. Accessories have shorter warranties, often 90 days for masks, standard tubing, standard water tubs. External battery packs might get 6 months.
And what does it cover? What's excluded?
It covers defects in materials and workmanship under normal use. If there's a covered defect, ResMed will usually repair or replace the item at their discretion. Exclusions typically include damage from dropping it, water damage, like spilling into the machine, unauthorized modifications, and importantly, damage caused by using those ozone cleaners.
And the warranty claim process goes through the DME.
Usually, yes. You contact your DME, they verify the issue and warranty status, get a Return Merchandise Authorization RMA from ResMed. You ship the device back, often via the DME. ResMed repairs or replaces it and sends it back. Turnaround might be 10, 14 business days, sometimes longer.
Can you get a loaner machine?
Sometimes. It depends on your DME provider's policy and availability. Definitely worth asking if you need warranty service.
An overall user experience with support. Sounds like it depends a lot on the DME.
Very much so. Some DMEs are fantastic, very responsive. others less so. The quality of your DME can significantly impact your overall satisfaction, independent of the machine itself.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of detail. Let's try to summarize the key pros and cons, maybe hitting the highlights.
Sure. AirSense 11 Pros, modern touchscreen, great digital support via Meyer exclusives, integrated for her, OTA updates, energy efficient. Cons, higher price usually, heated tube, often extra, accessory incompatibility with AS10, maybe left proven long-term reliability just due to newness.
And AirSense 10 Pros, proven reliability, effective core therapy, often lower price or better bundles with heated tube. Connected models have app remote monitoring. Cons, dated interface, known water tank issues for some, no OTA updates, card to cloud version has zero connectivity.
That captures the main points well.
So bringing it all together, the final verdict, which AirSense is right for you?
Look, the bottom line is both are excellent APAP machines. They will both treat your sleep apnea effectively if used correctly.
But they offer different experiences.
Exactly. Think of the AirSense 10 as the reliable, trusted workhorse. It does the job, does it well, been doing it for years. The AirSense 11 is the modern, digitally savvy next generation. More features, more connectivity, more guidance, slicker interface.
So the choice comes down to priorities.
Precisely. What matters most to you? Do you love having the latest tech and a touchscreen? How valuable is that extra digital hand-holding, especially if you're new? Do you specifically need the integrated for her algorithm? Are OTA updates important for future-proofing? What's your budget, including potential extras like the heated tube or new accessories? Do you travel or use battery power often, making efficiency key?
Okay, can we give some clear recommendations based on those priorities?
Let's try. You should probably lean towards the AirSense 11 if you strongly prefer a modern touchscreen interface, you're new to CPAP, and think the digital guidance, PTA, care check-in, would be really helpful. You need or want the flexibility of the integrated for her algorithm. You value the convenience and future-proofing of OTA software updates. You travel frequently or rely on battery power where the efficiency boost matters. Or maybe if you need specific high-altitude certification.
Makes sense. And who should stick with or choose the AirSense 10, the connected version?
Consider the AirSense 10 connected if you're perfectly comfortable with the dial button interface and prioritize proven long-term reliability over the newest features. You want effective core therapy with good app integration, My Air, and remote monitoring AirView, but don't feel you need the extra hand-holding of the AS11's exclusive features. You find a significantly better price or a bundle deal that includes the heated tube, making a better value up front, and you don't specifically need the integrated for her algorithm.
And that card-to-cloud AirSense 10.
Honestly, only consider the AirSense 10 card to cloud if budget is your absolute #1 overriding priority and you have absolutely no need or desire for app connectivity, data tracking via My Air, or remote monitoring by your clinician. It's basic, effective therapy, but very disconnected.
That's really clear, and no matter which machine.
Successful therapy always comes back to getting a mask that fits you well and doesn't leak, and having a supportive relationship with your DME provider and doctor to help you dial things in. The machine is just one piece of the puzzle.
Great point. And interestingly, there's a small sustainability angle here too.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning. The AirSense 11 is demonstrably more energy efficient, using about 8.5% less power. That's a positive step.
And ResMed has broader goals there.
They do talk about wider environmental, social, and governance ESG initiatives, things like resource efficiency in manufacturing, recycling programs, using solar power, product sustainability strategies. It's becoming more common for companies to focus on this.
And we as users have a role in disposing of old devices responsibly too.
Absolutely. So while energy efficiency probably isn't the main reason someone chooses an AS11, it's definitely a nice bonus, especially for environmentally conscious users.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive today. Key takeaways. Both the AirSense 10 and 11 are top-tier CPAP machines. The 11 brings modern tech, interface, and digital support. The 10 offers proven reliability, often at a better price point. Your personal needs and preferences should guide your choice.
Well put.
Now, if you want to really get into the weeds on these machines, we strongly recommend checking out 2 fantastic blog posts over on the Beekman Tech Channel blog.
Oh yeah, those are super detailed.
The first one is called ResMed AirSense 11 Auto CPAP, Everything You Need to Know. It's a really comprehensive overview.
Covers all the bases.
And the second one is ResMed AirSense 11 Auto CPAP Top 10 Questions and Answers. Great for tackling those specific queries people often have.
Yeah, addresses common sticking points.
We've put direct links to both of those blog posts right in the video description below, so definitely go check them out for more info.
please do. And hey, if you've used either of these machines, share your experience. Or if you have other questions we didn't touch on, drop a comment below. We love hearing from you all.
Absolutely. And one final thought to leave you with as you think about all this. Remember, the best CPAP machine isn't necessarily the one with the most bells and whistles. Ultimately, it's the one that helps you, personally, get consistent, restful, restorative sleep night after night. So ask yourself, what factors are truly most critical for your success on this journey? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.